Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to week 2 of Burnt Coverage, your daily and weekly fantasy source. I'm your host, Joel.
And I'm Curtis.
And so right now we're going to cover some running backs. You want to take the lead on this?
Yeah, sure, why not? There are a lot of great running backs in this league, obviously, but a lot of them I felt this week, the higher end guys either had bad matchups or didn't perform, so I'm a little shaky on them at their high prices. For that, there's a lot of guys at low prices that I'm aiming for. So I'm really going to focus on some much lower end guys with my picks. And the first one I want to put out there is Khiry Robinson. Khiry Robinson is a guy who, if you've ever seen him run, runs very fierce. He runs out every play. This guy is always out to make the big play. Kind of looks like Chris Ivory in the kind of fierceness and power he runs with, but he's a little shiftier. And last week he actually had 13 touches against the Cardinals in a very close game. This game, the Saints playing the Bucs, will not be that close, but that doesn't hurt him very much. Actually, it might help him. They could be up by halftime or the end of the third quarter, and Khiry Robinson could take over in getting the carries and could push for even 20 touches in this game. The only caveat is that CJ Spiller might come back, but my reasoning is that Khiry was productive already in the offense. They don't want to rush Spiller back, especially in a game that they can probably easily handle the Bucs. And if Spiller does get any carries, I bet it'll be a few very early and not as the game wears on. And Kyrie's clocking in at $3,000 in DraftKings, the cheapest guy, $4,900 in FanDuel. So if you want to squeeze in a lot of high-end wide receivers or a quarterback, then this might be the guy you want to go for.
And this is not, CJ Spiller, this is not the first injury that he's had, so I think you're right that if he does even play at all, he'll definitely be on some limited touches. So I really like Khiry Robinson, and I don't think you should badmouth him by comparing him to Chris Ivory at all.
Oh, come on, you were in the Chris Ivory camp last week.
Last week, yes. It's a 1 week game we're talking about. Chris Ivory is not a great quarterback. He's a great running back. He's a good running back in that system against that team.
I suppose. I guess time will tell.
He plays for the Jets.
Yeah, it's hard to root for anybody who plays for the Jets.
It's not Curtis Smart. All right, I'll go. So I'm gonna do my obligatory Eagles pick, and I'm going to go Darren Sproles. All right. So Darren Sproles last week in that crushing loss to the Atlanta Falcons, he had 5 rushes for 50 yards. 5 rushes for 50 yards. Simple math. Not great at it. That's 10 yards a carry. He also had 7 of 9 targets for 76 yards. 7 catches out of 9 targets. Second on the team behind Jordan Matthews, who we all know is a stud. And so with the new injury to Randy Gregory in the pass rusher, the rookie pass rusher for Dallas, I really think that Chip Kelly's going to continue to use Darren Sproles in this jack-of-all-trades slot receiver, Darren Sproles. And I really think, especially in DraftKings for $3,500 or FanDuel for $5,600, he's going to be a PPR stud. You get both the catches and the rushing yards, and he also is returning the punts. He's great for the price, and you got the triple threat of scoring opportunities.
Yeah, and the $3,500 in DraftKings, you mentioned PPR. It's a full point in DraftKings. So 7 catches. Mm-hmm. Automatic 7 points right there. Yeah, and if you're only paying $3,500 for him, even if he gets 4 catches and the yardage and gets his regular 5 carries.
Yeah, but it's the targets. Like he got 9 targets with all those great receivers that the Eagles have. Like that's amazing, you know. And even last year he only had, I think, 97 carries or 97 targets last year, and he's already got 9 in week 1. You know.
But it wouldn't surprise me, though, that Chip would do something completely different from game to game.
It's always a possibility in an offense like this, like the New Orleans offense, the Philadelphia offense. It's a guessing game week to week, New England offense. But I don't know. I really think that a player like Sproles will exploit the weaknesses that Dallas has.
And it's fun watching him play.
It certainly is.
If you have money on Sproles and you're watching him out there and he gets the ball, it's like any play could be a touchdown.
He's 5'6". He's 5'6" and plays in the NFL.
Yeah.
I mean, he's amazing.
Hard not to root for him, the old Rudy syndrome. Except they want him on the field. I got another running back here that maybe you hadn't heard of before his Monday night game against the Eagles, and that's Tevin Coleman for Atlanta. Came out of Indiana, one of the best running backs the Big Ten has seen in quite a while. Rushed for 2,000 yards his senior year in college. And his first game he didn't disappoint. He got the carries, he had 20 carries for 80 yards. Yes, it's only 4 yards a carry, but he was running at a time when Atlanta looked to be trying to control the clock. Julio Jones was also dealing with some sort of hamstring injury. I love Julio. It's hard not to play him, but that's for a different day. The Tevin Coleman, I see Atlanta going to New York, the Giants, and getting up early and trying to ride their young running back a little bit, giving Julio some rest and giving this guy another 20 carries is not out of the question. And what I really like, once again, the price, DraftKings, $4,500 in DraftKings for a guy that can get 20 carries. FanDuel, $6,500. And yes, it is in a bit of a timeshare with Devontae Freeman, but he out-touched him 2-1. I think there's plenty of opportunity. Coleman also got a lot of the goal line opportunities as well. So I'm really excited about this young back.
And he just looked way more explosive than Freeman in that game.
Mm-hmm.
And I like him as well, but I like him for a different reason. I think we learned last week, and we've known for a while, that nobody can stop Julio Jones.
Yeah.
But I think that is what defenses are going to focus on, especially after seeing his performance last week.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the Giants will see a lot of double and triple teams, and that will open the running game up even more so.
Definitely.
Yeah, so I'm on board with you on that.
Yeah, and the Devontae Freeman thing too. They did draft Tevin Coleman for a reason.
And this was Kyle Shanahan had made that pick. Like, he hand selected this running back to lead this offense.
Yeah.
So.
You got one more?
Yeah, I do, and I'm going to continue with my theme of small pass-catching running backs, and that is Danny Woodhead, San Diego Chargers. Danny Woodhead was kind of an afterthought coming to this season with the drafting of Melvin Gordon, but all I have to say is Melvin who? Melvin is completely overrated. I'm jumping off that bandwagon completely. Danny Woodhead last week, 2 touchdowns versus Detroit, 12 carries for 42 yards, but the most telling stat to me, he had 6 carries in the red zone and 2 targets in the red zone to Melvin Gordon 0. And this was a game, and they're going to be on the road, yes. They are playing in Cincinnati. I had to remember that for a second. But I really think that Danny Woodhead is going to be a focal point of this offense, especially, and it's going to be I'm going to use the Julio Jones analogy that I just used. With the game that Keenan Allen just had, I think teams are going to focus on him, and that's going to open things up even more so for Danny Woodhead this week. And at the dirt cheap price of $4,000 on DraftKings, and a little more expensive on FanDuel, $62. But again, catching passes, running it in, and he's getting all the red zone looks, which is what you're looking for.
Yeah, and this is a vet, and this is a guy that knows the offense and has a rapport with Phillip Rivers now. And once again, just an exciting, fun guy to watch. It's really curious that a guy that small is getting all the red zone touches.
It really is, especially when they have this highly touted rookie that everybody was all over, that all got all the preseason hype. And I have not seen anything to convince me that he is worth that hype at all in Melvin Gordon round.
All right, well, that's it for our running backs. Thanks for joining Burn Coverage. I'm Curtis.
And I'm Coverage.
And we will see you in a different segment or next week. Good luck.